Hello everyone and welcome back to Money Motivated. Today I'm just doing a quick run through video of everything that we did to these drawers to turn them into the masterpiece they ended up. So this is how they started off. And then the first job was to remove all the hardware. So we ended up pulling out all the drawers, seeing what was damaged and what needed replacing. And to get the hardware off these, we had to actually ply them out from the inside of the drawer because they were hammered into the backs of the drawers using some wire. Once we got them out, we stuck them in a pot of boiling water to clean them a little bit, and then went back to polyfill all the holes that were left behind, and then polyfill any holes that were also on the tops and the outsides of the units. Once that was done, we took them out of the pot and gave them a quick scrub down to get rid of any of the old grime that was on them, ready for repainting. And then it was time to look inside of the drawers at all these flimsy little pieces of wood, which are supposed to stop the drawers from going back too far. We decided to replace them just to make it look a bit cleaner and to give a bit more support. Getting in to take out some of these pieces of wood was a little bit tricky, but once they were all removed, I cut some new pieces of wood and fitted them in, and it looked a lot better and a lot more sturdy afterwards. Once that was done, it was time to move on to the bane of my existence, which was sanding down these drawers and the fronts of the drawers and the sides of the units. This took the most time out of all of the little jobs, and most of it wasn't even a good sand. It was just a scuff sand so that the paint would adhere. I got most of it sanded down with a disc sander. However, I couldn't reach some of the awkward spots, like these edges that were curved. So I came back in with these pad sanders, which were manual, but I did find they did a lot better job, which meant it was now finally time to move on to the exciting part, which is decorating and painting. So I got the spray gun out and started mixing my paints ready for spraying. After much deliberation, we decided to go with a dark forest green with a walnut stain on the top drawers and the tops of the units, which meant that the rest of the drawers and the bottom three drawers would be sprayed this dark forest green. Once they were done, it was time to move on to these top drawers, which were going to be stained a dark walnut, which really complements the walnut on top and sort of brings the whole thing together. And then once the drawers were done and looking pretty good, it gave me the confidence to move on to the tops of these drawers. So I put on 2 coats of walnut stain on both the top drawers and the tops of the units. That's when I really felt that this project was coming together and it was starting to look finished. But obviously, we're not just going to leave these bottom drawers plain and simple. We had to get some wallpaper with flowers on it to really give it that bit of pop that I felt like it needed. And once they were done, we gave the same treatment to the insides of the drawers before spraying the handles black and then refitting those. And that's it. The drawers were pretty much done. All right, so before I reveal the finished product, let's take a look at what we started with. And here's what they look like now. I think they are much better. Obviously, they're now up for sale on my Facebook. And if you're interested, the links are in my bio. So check that out and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.